Hey everybody, in this video we're going to review how to solve a system of equations with elimination. So remember, a system of equations is where you have a curly bracket, usually, and two equations, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to find an x number and a y number that will make both equations true. And so our answer is going to be an ordered pair. That's how we'll know we've done a good job. All right, now elimination is kind of tricky. The whole idea is that we've got to eliminate one of the two variables that we see. Right now we have x and y. And to help us eliminate, I usually go through three questions in my brain that we're going to be going through right here. The first question that I always ask myself before I eliminate is everything lined up? And what that means is, you can see right here we have our x's with our x's, our y's with our y's, our equals lined up with each other, and our constants lined up with each other. If everything is lined up, and right now it is, so that's cool, then we can move on to the next question. Do we have the same number with the same letter? So what that means is you're going to compare your variables. So for example, here I have my two y's, but you can see that they have different numbers in front of them. But if we look at our x's, right here our x's, they both have 4's in front of them. And yeah, I know that one of these is negative, but I'm kind of ignoring the negative right now because that's going to come up in question 3. But for now, I want to acknowledge, yes, we do have 4x in both equations. So now, since we can say yes, we're going to move on to the next question. Do those same numbers have opposite signs? In other words, we have a positive 4x in the bottom and a negative 4x in the top. That's actually good news. We want it to be like that. If you can answer yes to all three of these questions, then we're going to just add straight down. So I usually like to underline the two equations, and I see that negative 4x plus 4x actually eliminates, because that would be 0x. Then I have negative 2y plus 8y, which is 6y, equals negative 12 plus negative 24 is negative 36. Now I can divide both sides by 6, and I see that y equals negative 6. That is part of my answer, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the ordered pair right now. We're only halfway done. Now we've got to go ahead and solve for x. So the way that this works is we're going to take our negative 6 and plug it into one of the y's. These both look kind of equally tricky. I'm going to stick with the bottom equation because I know I make a lot of mistakes with negatives. So the bottom equation has a lot fewer negatives. I think that's the safe way to go. So I'm going to take out the y and put a negative 6 in its place. So that's going to give me a 4x plus negative 48, because 8 times negative 6 is negative 48, equals negative 24. Now, just for simplicity, instead of writing plus negative 48, let's just write minus 48. I think that'll be easier. To get x by itself, I usually like to read the equation starting with the letter x. So here you can see that it's x times 4 minus 48. And if we do our opposite stuff backwards, then we're going to get x by itself. I'm going to start by adding 48 to both sides of this equation. So we have 4x equals, and that's going to become a positive 24. Negative 24 plus 48 is 24. Finally, we're going to divide both sides by 4, and that answer is going to be that x equals positive 6. And that is going to be our final answer for this system of equations.